beautiful morning. Good morning to you. Welcome back to the only show that matters. Sunrise. Good morning, where the fun rises. Each and every weekday morning, 6 until 8 o'clock. Thank you so much for joining us. It is 6:24 a.m. on the clock, which means it's that time of the morning where we delve into the headlines with our very own lady right here. I don't know if I got Georgina waiting.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I got the invite.
We just want to lick a diamond on the little side. I wouldn't want a big one. Just the left diamond.
I want to leave the lady diamond alone.
If Shaggy wouldn't take it,
I would take it.
Okay,
you know, it's rude to not.
That is it.
You know what I mean?
I know.
Especially when she insists.
Yeah.
But all right, let's get into it for today's headline. I come bearing gifts, you know?
Okay, great.
As usual. Sometimes I bring a little something. This morning is one of those mornings. So for today's headline, we're joined by attorneys at law, Opal P. Lee and Tremaine Hemans via Zoom, who will break down the latest U.S. State Department updates on non-immigrant visa interview waivers. Viewers will learn who now qualifies, how the changes affect first-time and renewal applicants, and what documents are still required. They'll also share practical tips to help applicants navigate the process smoothly and avoid common pitfalls. So welcome to Sunrise.
Welcome, ladies. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us. Doing great. I'm especially excited because Miss Kitty, you are my spirit animal, and I finally get to.
Oh my God, Clacky girl. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God, I am blushing. Oh my God. Thank you so very much. It's so happy to have you. It's great to have you ladies here with us and from council to council. You know, it's always great to get the pertinent information so that persons can operate from a place of information and not fear. So let's start with, what is the new dispensation? What is the United States Embassy saying as it relates to visa renewal now?
All right. So listen, good morning. I'm very happy to be here. But here it is, effective September 2nd. Of course, the Department of State has said, you know what, they're going to be updating the categories of applicants who may be eligible for waiver. And, you know, some people are saying, well, listen, I'm just renewing my visa. You know, maybe it's been 48 months. I've never had any issues. Why do I have to go to the embassy? But now it is that no. What they're saying, that even applicants who are under the age of 14 and over the age of 79, they now most likely will be required to do an in-person interview. And this is coming up September 2nd. Of course, there are certain exceptions. For example, you know, if you're classified as a diplomat, if you have renewed your visa, if your visa has only expired maybe within like 12 months, usually it was 48 months. So they're going to pre-pandemic category. So pre-pandemic, you know, they're going right back to that. So if your visa has expired though within the last 12 months instead of 48, you may be eligible to do that visa waiver. Of course, you must have been at least 18 years old when the visa was issued. If not, they're going to want you to go in so they can do, and you must have been fingerprinted. As well. And you can't, if you're going on that category, on that basis, you can't have had any prior refusals, like visa refusals, or any overstays or anything like that.
Wow. Let me get Tremaine Hemans in on this one. So Tremaine, talk to us about have they given any reasons for this new dispensation, this new position, and how will it affect, you know, persons who are going in for their renewal now? What does that mean, and what do they need to take with them?
Right. To be quite honest with you, like Ms. Opal said, you know, they're just returning to pre-pandemic policy. So there's a lot of stuff happening on the news right now. A lot of people are scared. And it seems like every new policy the government releases is something that we should be terrified about. Oh my gosh, this is going to, you know, negatively affect me. But as Ms. Opal said, this is just the pre-pandemic rule that they're putting back in place. And so it's nothing for anyone to be fearful about. What I suggest is that you stay on top of your dates. Make sure you check the requirements to see if any required documents, you know, have changed, to make sure that you are up to date, and to make sure you're not waiting till you reach to the airport to say that your visa has expired. You know what I mean? That's what we can do is just to stay on top of things and be proactive.
Right.
As Opa was saying, there's still exceptions in place. So if you got your visa when you were over the age of 18 the first time, you may still be able to qualify for that waiver if you don't have any other, we call them inadmissibility issues, as Opa was saying. Such as, previous overstays or other violations of that visa, you may still be able to get that waiver. They're just opening up now where everybody is fair game. And to be quite honest, that's across the board, even at USCIS. Everyone's being called in for interviews at this point. So I caution everyone to just do not be scared at every new policy you hear about. We just have to be proactive. As I say in my practice, and I tell my online community, good things are still happening. We just have to make sure that even though they're, restricting requirements across the board, that we still are proactive and prepared to make sure that we do what we have to do to, move on with our lives and be able to use that visa just the same.
Kind of maybe on topic, but a little veered off. Miss Kitty, Dennis, you and I were talking about a new thing where I believe it's a $5,000 to $10,000 fee.
Yes, it's like a bond.
Like a bond that's refundable if you don't overstay and things like that.
Right.
I'm assuming you ladies are aware of that. We were having that discussion. How does that work in terms of when do you get back the money? Is that something that everybody pays? Some people pay? How do you know if you're paying the $5,000, if you're paying the $10,000? Like, how does that work?
Well, listen, to be clear, that's just a pilot program, right? And they've only listed so far, thankfully, keep your fingers crossed, only 2 countries have been listed on that list. It's a test program that I think goes into effect like later on this month. Okay. And the only 2 countries this far, 2 African countries, it's Malawi and Zambia. Okay. And so the U.S. consulate in those countries will decide whether or not the applicant should be given a $5,000, a $10,000, or a $15,000 bond. Now, to be clear, those people who are paying those bonds, they're going to have to pay it through the U.S. Treasury. They have like a pay.gov platform that the people will use there. And those people are going to be only issued like a B1, B2 for 3 months. That's the max. However, when they enter the United States, even though they're given a 3-month visa, when they enter the United States, the Customs and Border Patrol, they reserve the right to then even lower that maybe to 30 days. Wow. And then when this applicant is now leaving, hopefully they have not overstayed, they have not worked unlawfully or otherwise violated the terms of conditions, then they could apply to get a refund of that bond. It's important to note, they have made it clear, no interest will be, they will not receive any interest on this bond. So can you imagine you pay a $15,000, which for some people, oh my goodness, coming up with $15,000.
Exactly.
And then knowing that's exactly right. So no bond, but in this case though, right, we're talking about a 3 months. So it's maybe in a long term, it's not really like they're holding it for 10 years.
Well, I'm happy for that clarification, Lady Opal.
Airports as well.
Go ahead, Tremaine.
What's that?
I was saying that there's specific airports that they have to come in through as well. So we're monitoring the pilot program. Yeah, it's 3 airports. So we're monitoring to see how they're going to roll it out. But in our experience, because again, this is our second go around with this government, right, Opal? And so they say a lot of things. There's a lot of things in theory, and then when it's time to implement those things, it doesn't go out as they plan. So we'll watch and see what's really going on.
But it's important to also note, though, that this is fluid. As I said before, it's a pilot. So everybody should be, on their watch, because we could be speaking right now, and I hear that, guess what, another country has been added.
Yeah.
So this is very fluid, other countries. And those 3 airports that they're going to mandate is like JF Kennedy, Washington Dulles, and Boston Logan International. So those are the 3. So there is a pilot. It's a test program. So I think they're going to see how this goes.
Oh, absolutely amazing. Just finally, ladies, in terms of, I know immigration lawyers or attorneys normally do it from immigration tends to concern, people who are in the States or want to be there, who are living there and want to get sorted out. But there are also many Jamaicans now, based on this new government and a lot of the rules that they have implemented, that are having issues. Is it that persons here can get advice or direction from persons like yourselves who are attorneys overseas?
Absolutely.
As to what to do and how to approach the situation?
Yes, we represent clients not only in the United States, but the cool thing about U.S. immigration law is whoever wants to come into the United States, we can talk to you. So my office, for instance, most of my consultations are virtual through WhatsApp or video chat because my clients are nowhere near South Florida. And so that's completely fine. If you just want some general information on how to migrate, you can speak with one of us. Yes, we are
Nice.
open
Right.
to speak with people all over the world. Yeah.
Okay, very
Right,
well.
because immigration, it's federal, and
Federal
so
law.
I have clients all over. I even have clients right now in Africa, and I have clients throughout the United States, and I do have a local office in Jamaica as well in the Dunrobin Plaza. So it's
nice.
and like Tremaine says, I do, especially in this climate, I caution my clients, please don't try to
Yes.
drive to my office if you don't have a driver's license in the US. It's not worth it. In this day and age, one thing, one positive out of the COVID, it has taught us how to work smarter. So we can do Zooms, we can do WhatsApp consults. So
Yes.
please don't go get arrested driving. Please don't do that.
Yeah, don't do
Yeah.
that, especially not right now, because they more than likely will be
Exactly.
waiting for you right by that courthouse
Exactly.
door to escort you elsewhere.
Exactly.
Ladies, finally, any advice you just like to leave with our viewers this morning? And I'm happy that TK asked that very pertinent question because, to operate from a place of fear, when we read about the 5,000, 15,000, I'm like, 15,000 US dollars? Oh my God, that's like 2.4 million Jamaican, like the average Jamaican, not a minute of it. When may I get back my money? May I get interest for my money? Oh, it really go. So I'm happy that clarification has been made.
Yeah.
But any advice, word of advice that you'd like to leave with our viewers in terms of how to proceed safely, lawfully, and so that they'll be on the right side, but without the fear and anxiety?
Well, I'll kick it off, Tremaine. So, for example, if you're applying for a non-immigrant visa or if you're renewing, it's important. Remember, one of the third points I made is that you might be exempt from the in-person interview if you are renewing it within the 12 months. So please don't sit and twiddle your thumb if you know your visa is expired. Don't wait until it's expired 2 years, 3 years, right? So the minute it expires, maybe if before, you can actually renew it before the expiry. And so go ahead and and renew it as soon as it's it's expired or before it's expired. And also, when you get that visa, know it's you're lucky, you're fortunate to have that.
Yes.
Don't abuse it. Do not work unlawfully. Do not overstay in the United States, even though they give you 6 months. I always say it's a trick. Please do not spend 6 months. Spend 2-3 weeks, because you know what? That is what they're going to look at, those things to see whether or not to waive that in person, or whether or not to even cancel your visa. Because if they're thinking you're spending 3 months, 4 months, they're thinking, you must be working overseas. Who is supporting you, all this time? And if you're in the United States, don't fear, even if you're married to a U.S. citizen, and even though, the atmosphere right now is people thinking that they might be detained, please seek an attorney like myself or Ms. Tremaine here, because there are ways here that you can get sorted out. Don't fear, don't hover in fear, because at least if you have an application pending, if you are detained, at least we can present that to a judge to get you a bond or to move forward with your application.
Love it. Thank you, Opal. Tremaine?
So helpful.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm just gonna jump in and piggyback off of what she's saying. That is the song I've been singing. I've been singing the same song since February. Do not let them let you cower in fear. The law is there, and there are people who understand the law who are here to help you. There is so much information online, but there's also misinformation online. A lot of times people are reporting on things that haven't even been implemented yet. They're just ideas, or they've been introduced. They have not been made effective as yet, and people are running up and down worried about how this is going to affect them. What you can do is to speak with professionals and seek proper information. Okay, your auntie that did her case 15 years ago, she does not have the answers for you. It's going to be an expert in the field who can give you proper and current information on how to assist you. And again, good things are still happening. Cases are being approved every single day. We don't hear about the good news that cases that have been filed since February are being approved at a record pace right now. There are a lot of great things still happening. Just make sure you seek the information. As Opal said, be proactive and do not abuse visas at this time. You get the visa, do what the visa says. If it's a visitor's visa, you visit, right? Do not stay for 4 to 6 months, because that's going to get you in problems. So that's really what I suggest at this point.
Absolutely amazing. I just love bright young ladies. Like for me, it's just so refreshing. Like, oh my God. Like I just feel so inspired right now. I'm just want to say, oh, say can you? That's a breakout in song, right? One girl does bright and does know them work. Oh my God. It's the brightness for me. It's just the dexterity for me.
Yeah.
You know, the legalese for me. I just love it. Love it. Love
Plus,
it.
it's really great to have information that we can trust, because you know, like you said, you know, you'll have your auntie will tell you one thing and then your friend tell you something else, and they say, no man, back when I was doing it, this is how it goes.
Right.
So to have the straight information, so helpful, and I know that there's so many people grateful for this information this morning. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us.
Thank you so much for sharing with
Our
us
pleasure.
and for giving us this valuable information. Really great. Thank you so much. All the best to you guys.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Be magnificent. Oh,
our
lovely.
guests have been attorneys at law, Opal P. Lee and Tremaine Hemans. So tell me, Pat, we have time for the second headline? Let's do it quickly. All right, so we talked about US and all these things. Let's bring it back local.
Right. I know it.
Yes, so we're there. Yes, so we're there. You know what I mean? All right, so of course, election has been called and nomination day is coming up. But nomination day, what is it and why is it important? Nomination day is the designated day for the official naming or selection of candidates to contest the elections in each electoral division. The law requires that nomination day be a minimum of 16 and a maximum of 23 days before election day, and at least 5 clear days after the announcement of an election. The nomination process is as follows. On nomination day, any person wishing to register as a candidate is required to complete a nomination form, Form A, which is provided on the Electoral Office of Jamaica website or at the nearest constituency office, signed by any 6 or more electors qualified to vote in an electoral division for which an election is to be held. For the election of a councillor, that is for the election of a councillor. Now, signed by any 6 or more electors qualified to vote in an electoral division within the area of the jurisdiction of a city municipality for which an election for mayor is to be held, and that's for election of mayor of the municipality of Portmore. Now, you return the form to the returning officer between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. at the place specified in the election notice as designated venue on the day appointed as nomination day. You're going to pay the nomination fee, which is 3,000 Jamaican dollars, to the returning officer. Deposits must be made in banknotes. No debit, no credit card, nothing like that, no check. None of those things will be accepted. So that is the process for your information. So that there is clarity. Because you know we like when people clear on things and how things work.
TK so that you can be a polling division.
Aye.
Go TK. It's a knowledge from me, girl. I love it. I love it. I love that kind of information. And you know, at the end of the day, when persons hear certain terminologies, I want us to all understand what they mean, what's the origin, what does it, you know, mean for you, what does it mean for me, and how we can approach it.
And
so
how does it work? How does it practically work? What do I do? This is where you go. This is who you talk to. This is how much it costs.
And you know, nomination is a big deal in Jamaica, you know.
Man.
So when the candidates are going in a neat and normal, they go with them people, you know. And like, for example, persons on the JLP will normally use the $100 with the buster mat. Well, a different money now. But back in the time, you use the buster mat, the $100, you know what I mean? To signify the boss. And if you're PNP, you use Michael Manley, you know what I mean? That kind of vibe. And so it's a big to-do. And it's quite exciting too. And I'm looking forward to seeing how, you know, nomination day will be executed this year. Again, guys, we're just asking for peace. We're asking for respect. We're asking for tolerance. We're asking for civility. You get to choose your party. I get to choose my party. And if you don't choose any party, that is also up to you. Okay? But let us all just go to nomination day, be respectful, be dignified, be decent, and most of all, be peaceful.
Amen.
Yeah.
That's a good note to end on.
Lovely.
I like that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Well, that's all the time we have, love, for the headlines this morning. Thanks to our very wonderful guests, Tremaine and Opal, attorneys at law, for sharing with us earlier. And of course, Lady TK with the information about nomination day. Who knew? Well, you get to know right here on Sunrise. All about back to school with Bashko when we come back from the break. So please do stay with us to learn more right here on Sunrise.